Hi everyone, very good evening. Welcome to my channel, Nikhil Satyavarapu, one-stop destination for learning RPA Business Analyst. So today we have our lovable speaker and RPA champion and UiPath MVP, Mukesh Kala. So who is going to discuss about exceptions. So what it is an interesting topic and very useful topic for business analysts. So let me give me quick introduction about Mukesh. So Mukesh is having around 7 years of experience in IT industry and having around 3+ years experience in the RPA, and he's been working very good in RPA and giving lots of content over and speaker in many sessions. He's having good knowledge and developer, and right now currently he's working as a senior developer in one of the MNC company. And so he's been selected right recently as UiPath MVP. We all know that. So first of all, we will congratulate Mukesh on that. And let's deep dive into the session. So hearty welcome to you, Mukesh. Thanks for accepting this.
Hi Nikhilesh, thank you
Hi,
so much.
Mukesh.
Thank you so much for inviting me on the channel and having this lovely introduction. You have covered almost everything in the introduction, so we can directly jump to the topic.
Yes, Mukesh. So basically today we are going to address about exceptions. So I would like to hear from you, like what is exception, Mukesh? What is exceptions in RPA? We know like exceptions will be in different in banking industry or finance industry, whatever it may be. But what is called an exception, and can you please elaborate it about in our RPA, like how we will go through it?
Okay, so before directly jumping into the RPA as an exception, so exception is something whenever you are expecting to something to happen, let's say step one, two, three, and those steps are not happening in the same order, that is called an exception. That something unexpected has occurred in the process of execution, be it a robot or be it in any of the application. That is what it is called an exception. So exception
Mhm.
can come in any way. So it can be a system exception, business exception, application exception. So to talk in short, that whenever you are expecting something to happen and does not happen in order and something unexpected occurs, that is what we call as an exception.
Okay, got it. Thanks for that. So you address like there are three types of exceptions. So is this the same we will see in RPA?
Yes. So in RPA also we would have the same terminology. So sometimes you can have, if I just talk in a wider criteria, so there are only two. One is the system and other is the business. Now again you can have a drill down of, let's say, when you say system exception, you can have application not opening exception, null reference exception, as any kind of system exception, object not referenced to an instance of an object. So you can further drill down it, but in a broader way you have two exceptions. One is called the system exception and the other is called the business exception.
Okay, that's good. I got it. So can we elaborate like what is system exception, Mukesh? How can I, as a layman, so
Mhm.
how can I know like what is a system exception?
Okay, so now assuming that we'll talk about RPA. So I am writing an automation where I have to download a file from, let's
Mm-hmm.
say, from a SharePoint server, and I have to save the file in some location. Okay, so now while I was attempting to download the SharePoint server, assuming
Mm-hmm.
that the server itself is down, right? So I have to get the data from a server or a website, and the
Mm-hmm.
website itself is down. So what will you do? So this is something where this
Mm-hmm.
exception happened because of the system which you are working upon. So that is where it is called the system exception. And these are the things which as a developer you
Mm-hmm.
have to take care of and you have to handle. So this
Okay.
is called the system exception, right? So you can also treat it as an application exception also, which describes the actual application that you are working on. So for example, I am working on the Excel application and the Excel is crashed, right? So how would you work? How would the bot work on the Excel? So this is called
Mm-hmm.
the system exception. On the other
Yeah.
hand, a business exception is something which is because of
Mm-hmm.
some exception which is because of some incorrect data or anything. For example, your process, you are writing a bot, then the bot expects an email at daily 9 a.m. Okay, so the business or somebody has to send an email at 9 a.m. and the bot has to download the attachment from the email. It's already 9 a.m. and you have not received the email. So the bot will trigger and the bot will not found the email. So it will went into exception. It will say that, hey, I am expecting an email at 9 a.m. on this folder and I have not received it. What should I do? So these kind of exception you will categorize as a business exception. Okay. So
Got it.
this, yeah.
Yeah. So, Mukesh, so you said about system exception and you said about business exception with the examples. So
Yeah.
that is good. I got it. So when, for example, a BA is taking the requirement,
Yeah.
so how does he know like this kind how he need to ask the SME or how he need to address these kind of exceptions while he is in a requirement gathering or any initial phase assessment? How is it possible or how he need to take care?
Okay, okay. So I will just first talk about the business exception thing. So for example, you are a BA business analyst and we are talking to a business who says that, okay, so on daily, so taking the example, on the daily AM, on daily 9 a.m., we are expecting this file and the bot should trigger. Now as a BA, you should ask the question that what happens if the email is not available at 9 a.m., right? So that is your question. So then the business will ask you, okay, if the
Okay.
email is not arriving, you just simply stop the process and drop me an email saying that the email is not available, right? Other things can be, for example, if there is a dependency,
Okay.
for example, you are writing attended automation for that matter, and the business has to put in some information in a form and have to click on the submit button. Now sometime what might happen, the person might put incorrect data. So instead of putting the phone number, he just put some random numbers,
Right.
right? So as a, that is a business exception, right? Because 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, you can put any of the mismatch errors, right? So instead of the first name you put some other name. So what should the bot do there? Because as a coding or a developer, when you explain the same thing to a developer, you will say that, hey, that there here you have to handle this business exception, that if you are getting an input in this format, you have to raise a flag to the business or you have to do XYZ step. One of the classic question that every BA is asking, and whenever you are doing any process, is that what happens if the entire process is not executed at all? Okay, so assuming
Okay.
that you are dealing and you are writing an automation in an SAP, and the SAP itself is down. So you are writing a process
Done.
that is supposed to be run on a daily basis, right? So Monday the process worked fine. On Tuesday the SAP application was down. Now this question you have to ask to business, that what do they do when the SAP is down, right? Because they are daily doing the SAP jobs. So
Okay.
how
Got
do
it.
they tackle the how do they tackle this scenario, that when the SAP is down, how do they do their job, right? The same thing we have to
Scenario.
code to the bot also. So you,
Okay.
from a BA point of view, you have to think both from the system
Got it.
and from the business point of view. Now business, you can have unlimited scenario like threshold, the input file not available, share drive not accessible, the user ID and the password. So one example is to log into any application, we require user ID and the password, right? So that definitely will be coming from the credential store and the CyberArk. What happens if the account is locked, right? What should the bot do, right? Because if the account is logged, bot will not be able to
Okay.
log in. Now you have to ask the business that what should I do when the account is logged. So business will tell, okay, if the account is logged, you have to write an email to account unlock team, giving the credential. So that thing will come as a exceptional handling in your code.
Right. Got it.
Yeah.
So in the, I mean, yeah, I got it. So in the, complete explanation or conclusion, I can tell you are telling
Yeah.
whenever BA is in the IPA stage or the requirement stage, he need to think in the bot perspective and ask the SME n number of questions, even for the exception. First, what they will do if it is fail, what is they will do if it is false.
Yes.
Then he will get some answer. As per that, he need to talk to his solution architect and prepare their solution. So you are saying ask a number of questions to the SME whenever we are in the requirement gathering.
Right.
Okay. Okay, that is given a very good brief thing about the questionnaire. So thanks for that. And so, for example, this kind of business exceptions you explained, even I mean, he documented it or even he developed it. I mean, yeah, when in the requirement gathering, the X exception or the Y exception is not there. But when you people developed it, the exception is coming. Then what we will do or what we will address to the business? How we will need to handle this situation? You got my point, right? The
Yes,
exception
yes,
is
yes.
not before, but when you're development, yeah.
Okay, so before talking to that one, I would just like to go when we talk about technical. Let me just go through the technical part of little bit, that how do we implement. So, for example, how do we implement that? Whenever we are expecting as a developer, I'm expecting something might break, I will put that thing in a try catch block. Okay, so if I talk about in the try block, you will put the code, which is put the code or the logic where you think you might get an exception. So that exception might be a business exception and that might be a system exception, right? So assuming that I have a logic, so assuming that your logic only, so one logic I have put in a try catch. In the catch block, I will handle the exception. So at the beginning in the PDD or in the process design document, I know that okay, this flow is going to generate 5 business exception, so I will handle the 5 business exception. So in case the sixth one is coming, right, that is your question. So fifth I have handled in the business exception in the catch block. If the sixth is coming, the sixth one will be handled by the generic exception handler. That is the, so what it is like, so we have a exception object, we have an exception which is the parent of all exception. So you can treat it as the parent is the exception and then the child are the business exception, system exception, application exception. So if the childs are handling, that is okay. If the childs are not handling, now all the exception will be handled by the exception block of the robotics enterprise framework. Now your that exception which was supposed to be a business exception and it was not handled, now it will be thrown as a system exception, right? Because you have not told that this might occur. So that will be handled by the parent, and the parent is called the exceptional handler, the parent. So it will handle it as a system exception and it will do the next set of steps.
Got it.
Got it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is very good. So here, Mukesh, one more thing. See, for example, we are talking these exceptions and all. So is it limited? Is it any limited? Then I mean, people have their own mights and thinking like this process may have only the limit. For example, if we say there is a process called, so RPA is having some standard called, yeah, this process may have only this many exceptions, or this process may have only 5 to 6 business exceptions, 7 system exceptions. So is it like that, or what do you say?
See, assuming that I give you a code, okay, and I am not telling you anything about the exception, okay, so you give the code as it is to the developer, assuming that you are the BA and I am the developer, right? You gave me the entire piece of logic to write and you say that Mukesh, you have to implement this logic, but you have not given me anything, neither a system exception,
Okay.
neither a application exception. So as a developer, it is also my responsibility to handle the not only the business exception but also the system exception. So I cannot handle the most of the business exception because that is more related to the business. But when as a developer you are developing, right, you see, so assuming that I am reading a file from a shared drive, so as a developer something comes to my mind that okay, I am reading this file from the shared drive, what happens if the file is not available? What should I do? What will the bot do? Then I can come back to the BA, I will tell that, hey, tell me what should I do. So so if I am getting no answer, what I will do, I will simply throw a system exception, and the system exception will be handled by the robot in a system exception manner. So actually there when you whenever we develop any project in RPA world, so we use a framework which is called the robotics enterprise framework. So what that framework does, that whenever there is a system exception, it retries that thing, and whenever there is a business exception, it does not retry this thing. For example, assuming that you have to write a data to the Excel, and in the first time the Excel crashes, right? So there are chances that if I rerun the automation by killing everything, it might run, correct? But
Okay.
if it is a
Got it.
business exception, for example, the password is incorrect, even if you retry it, you will again get the incorrect password only, right?
Right.
So that is how.
Got it.
Yeah.
So that is also clear. So see, for example, you are telling system exception and business exception mostly we see. So is there any, I mean, is there any standard emails we do follow as per the process? For example, this system exception is coming, then how how you address to the business team as per the standard, like just assume anything and just as per the standard, how you will address this
Okay.
to
So
this business,
yeah.
how you will communicate.
So the communication mostly happens with the emails. Okay. So you would have a configuration file. In the configuration file, you will put the email addresses of the business whom you want to intimate, right? For your entire process, it is not always necessary that you will have only one person or one stakeholder, right? For example, if your automation is dealing with 5 different
Yes.
teams, so then you have 5 different business users, right? So in your configuration file, you will have 5 different email IDs, right? Let's say business 1, business 2, business 3, business 4, business 5. You will have a email ID, you will have the subject, you will have the body. So based on the exception which is generated by the process, if the process generate an exception that is handled for the that is related to the business user one, it will the bot will go to the configuration file, pull out the email ID of the business, put it in the email, pull the subject, draft the body, and send an email to the business saying that okay, this bot today did not execute. What are the next steps? Now it depends on your automation that do you want it to retry, or the business sends an again one back email. So for example, in most of the cases wherever there is an email automation involved and you expect an email from the business, right? And 9 a.m.
Reply.
the email is not available. So the bot sends an email to the business saying that bot was not able to execute because the input email was not available. The business reads the
Okay.
email and the business sends an email back to the bot mail ID that this is the email. As soon as the bot receive it, it again retriggers it, right? So this entire flow is completed like this.
Okay, super, Mukesh, super. Yeah,
Got your
got
answer?
it. Yes, yes, I got the answer perfect. So that is also cleared. And for example, right now I will give small step or scenario. So you just tell me which exception we need to say this for. Okay. So there is a process. There is a process for the for every start of the process. You need to go to some shared drive. Okay. Or the email. So email on particular time basis. So when you enter to the email, you should have the file which you need to extract or pull the data. Okay. So that is first step. Second step, when you enter into the drive, you should again pull the data, but the data should be in a desired format. I mean, the process is required some format. Then only the data is validation is something is there. Okay, so this was the initial step. In the first step, email Excel, and in the second step, the shared drive Excel with the format. So when the process is executed, business SME said like this only. He didn't said what is the exception here. He said, yeah, this was the first step, and he's ongoing. So tell me here, how the BA need to ask a question, or which kind of exception do you think comes here?
Okay. Interesting scenario. So first of all, see, we'll go by the Outlook part, right? So first step, if I as a human, you have to download the file. What you will do? You will open the Outlook, right? So what happens if the Outlook is not accessible? Open outlook.exe and it crashed. So that is a system exception, right? So you don't have to ask this
Mm-hmm.
question to the business, right? Because in
Okay.
so this thing will be handled again by the developer, because whenever he is using that application, he should know that okay, I am using Outlook. So what happens if the Outlook fails? But as an BA, in your mind you should have a question that okay, if the Outlook fails, I would need to tell my developer that you put a retry here, okay, in case of the application failure. Now the next thing is
Okay.
you have to read the emails, right? So you have to read the
Right.
email, and so you are expecting an email, so you would have some condition, that what are the condition to
Right.
read the email, right? You cannot read the entire mailbox. You would have some condition,
Correct.
like what would be the sender name, attachment name, or this name. So you ask the question,
Got it.
what happens if the
Mm-hmm.
email is not available till 9 a.m.? So the business will say, okay, so if the email is not available till 9 a.m., you simply don't run the process. So you will code that thing,
Okay.
that if the email is not available till 9 a.m., stop the process. Next thing, you have to
Got it.
download the attachment, right? So you will ask the business
Mm-hmm.
that, okay, email is available, but the attachment, we are expecting in PDF, but the attachment is in
Mm-hmm.
Excel format. Valid
Okay.
scenario, right? The sender, instead of sending
Super.
something, instead of sending the Excel, he send a PDF file. So you are expecting a PDF,
Yeah.
and so now the next check will be email is available,
Mm.
but the attachment is not
Mm.
proper. So again, the business will say, if that is the case, you just write an email
Mm-hmm.
to the sender. So what you will do is you will
Sender.
note that scenario, that if email is available, attachment is not proper. So you cannot
Mm-hmm.
validate the internal content of the file, but at least you can have a high level check that email, correct sender,
Right.
correct subject, and the correct type of attachment, and the correct attachment name, right? Sometimes what
Okay.
happens, that the business was supposed to send an Excel called, let's say, abc.pdf, and they sent
Okay.
abc.excel. So there only you can stop the process. So these are the
Right.
things that you can have, ask
Okay.
the business that what happens if this. Now the next thing here, it is available, and assuming that your process, what you are
Even
expecting.
adding to the yeah.
Yeah, yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt. And yeah, in that scenario only, even the attachment will be missing some days, right?
Correct, right. The attachment is not available. That is also one case,
Yeah.
that email is available, but the attachment is not there.
Okay.
What you will do, right? Now
Right.
everything we pass all the
Okay.
checks. Now where should I save the file, right? Because you are receiving the
Super.
business data on the email, where should you save it? You should have some shared location, right? Now the business say that okay, you
Right.
share it at this location. Now the next question, what
Mm-hmm.
happens if the location is not accessible,
Okay.
right? It might be a scenario,
Got
right?
it.
The location is not accessible. Then the business says that
Yes.
okay,
Yes.
if the,
Android.
it is not accessible, stop it. Now the next question,
Okay.
if it is accessible and there is already a file with the same name, do you want to replace,
So,
or do you want to
okay.
duplicate the file, right? Because if you
For
simply
sure.
replace the file, your previous data is gone.
Gone.
See, only for
So,
this piece of automation, you have around
mm,
7 to 8 questions, right? So once the data is, you are saving,
seventh, eighth.
right? So when you are
Right.
saving the data, what happens if the file is already available? Do you want to replace the file, or you simply want to ignore the file, right? Or you want to
Right.
save both the files, right? So then the business say that okay,
Mhm.
according to our business scenario, that you have to do this. Now this same thing you will tell your developer, because if you would not tell this thing, so the developer will assume things and he will code like that okay, always I have to replace, or always I have to rename, and then that will
Okay.
cause consequences in the later part of the problem. So that was your first part.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, now let me
Yeah.
go to the second part, where we have to get the file from a shared drive, right? Now the first
Right.
thing again, shared drive itself is not accessible. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
shared drive is accessible, but the folder is not available. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
folder is available, file is not available, right?
Yes.
File is available, but the file is logged. So this is one of the
Okay.
major scenarios which we face, that since we are working on the shared
Mm-hmm.
drive, right? So shared drive means you
Mm-hmm.
are also accessing, Nikhilesh and Mukesh both are accessing the same file. So Nikhilesh just opened the
Yes.
file in his system and he went for a coffee break. Now, when
Right.
the bot is trying to run, it will say the file is being used by some other process. What should you do?
Correct.
Right? That are the set of
Mm.
questions. So in
Right.
that scenario, what should you do? Should you wait? Should the bot stop? So any which way the bot will stop, right? So once the bot will stop,
Right.
you have to intimate the one or the business that somebody has logged the file. So all these questions,
So,
yeah,
super, super, Mukesh. For one step only, you have elaborated minimum 10 to 15 system exceptions, even business exceptions, you addressed everything. So, super. That is really good. So, when you are saying every step you are telling, you should inform to the developer, you said BA should inform to the developer, BA should inform to the developer. So, if I am not wrong,
mm,
this communication will be documented, right? All
yeah,
these business exceptions, system exceptions,
mm.
communication is documented in our PDD, if I am not right.
Right. So you will write that thing in a PDD, and see, it is not always the responsibility of the BA, right? It is like sometimes you
Mm-hmm.
BA might also forget something, but as a developer, when I am developing the code, I see, okay, so there
Mm-hmm.
might be something which, so as a developer or a BA, we should not assume the things, right? So
Right,
sometimes your assumption goes wrong.
right.
So whatever, so what my experience is, I don't have much of experience, but I never assume things. I never assume that, okay, this should be the case, right? I might be completely wrong, and that might land me in some other consequences. So rather, I will just simply go and ask the BA, or if I have access, I'll directly ask the business. And whenever I'm asking, I'll just that thing in a confirmation or in a some written kind of document said that, okay, this is clear and this is how we are going. We never assume things in RPA. That is what I believe.
Got.
You can
Yes, it
counter me.
is
Yeah.
the. Yes, it is the one of the another interesting point you brought. Yeah, never assume the things in RPA. Yeah, that is a very good point and valid point. I am in the same page. So thanks for that. So I think I mean I have one more question, but which is not from the topic. But so I think we have covered everything about the exception, system exception. Even Mukesh has given wonderful examples with n number of examples he explained how he will encounter, how he will ask the SME and how he need to address. Even he said like it should be documented. If it is not documented, also how we need to tackle. So he said that. So thanks for that, Mukesh. So I have one apart from this. So one normal question like, so I'm a BA,
Yeah.
and as you said, like you are a senior developer or architect. So how should be the relation between these people? For example, the BA and the developer, because BA is not into the development, but the development team is completely separated. They have developer, senior developer, architect, tech leads. Many things are there. The how this relation should be there to be the RPA bot is good. I mean, we can have the good productive bot. To get the good productive bot, how this relation should be there as per your experience and
Okay.
knowledge.
Okay. See, uh, I can tell you that first of all, the channel should be open always between the developer and the BA. Both of them should be accessible at any moment of time, right? The next thing is whenever some kind of change is happening from the business side, right? So the communication should be early enough so that it should not be like that the BA has got to know that the application is changing and the BA is holding that information for 1 week and then telling the developer for the next week. Whatever change is happening or whatever the BA anticipate that might happen should be intimated. The other way around, if anything is happening in the PDD or any of the business case, the developer should be flexible enough to get the change. Not so much flexible that the entire code is changing, but at least somewhat flexible that, okay, if something are changing like that. Now here comes an important role, that how clearly the requirement was documented, right? So most of the time the
Right.
BA and the developer will fight that you didn't tell me this thing in the beginning, and the BA will tell that, okay, I
Right.
got this thing from the business now only, right? So most of the
Okay.
time
Yes.
there would
Yes.
be clash in this thing only. So but the
Yes.
bottom line
Absolutely.
is, at the end of the day, we are working for a business whom we have to deliver it. So it should not be like that. Blame game should not be there. That is what I feel. If there is something, if everything is
Okay.
going good, then we all are doing good. If
Mm-hmm.
something goes wrong, we all are in it together. blame game should not happen.
Right.
That is what my experience is.
Super, super, Mukesh. Again, you bought one another good line. So definitely, like, yeah, it is a very good point. So you are telling it should be a healthy relation between any team, like
Yeah, not
BA,
only BA dev but testers.
architect,
Yes, any team for that matter.
anything.
Yeah,
Then only we can give the productive to the customer in a good way.
right,
So that is what even the end results will come.
right.
Su- Super. And one more last question I usually see many people are asking. For example, we talk about the system exception and business exception, everything, right?
Yeah.
So when the BA, I mean, when the, developer is testing,
Hmm.
functional testing is being ongoing. So these test cases are being passed.
Hmm.
Okay. And when the BA comes into the picture, he will sit with you again. He pinpoint you the each and every step, like this actual result and expected result,
Hmm.
and the system exceptions and business exceptions, which earlier not encountered, but it is not. It is coming now. Okay,
Hmm.
so which is not in the PDD, but it is coming now. As you already addressed that how to handle
Hmm.
this,
Hmm.
but again, how the BA or the developer or the entire entire scenario should be handled with the business team along with the collaboration of the BA and the developer
Okay,
when
so
the
see,
unknown exception came
yes,
when
yes. So
in testing stage.
okay, so it came into the testing stage. That means that the testing team was not aware fully of the functionality, right? Why? So if the testing team,
Okay.
for example, you
Mhm.
are having a test lead or having a tester who is, testing the process, and the tester is not aware of the process, so he or she will simply test it for whatever he knows. But whenever you include the tester or the testing team right from the, not exactly from the beginning, but when you are expecting that thing to come into the testing, and and you tell all the business scenario, you tell all the system exception to the tester, then the blame will, or the blame, or the question will not come to the BA that why you are pointing it now, right? Because now the BA can also always sit with the tester, tell them that instead of only testing these scenarios, I want you to test these scenarios also, so that everything
So
is happening at the testing end only. And also the same thing you can tell the developer also, that apart from handling all the system exception, all their logic, all your coding logic, I want you to handle these scenarios and just take care of these scenarios while developing. So all three are in
got
sync,
it.
then you won't face these kinds of scenarios.
Yes, super. That is also cleared, very clear. And the last and final question, okay.
Yeah.
So, for a BA, do you think he can learn this RPA program, or he can do this complete? I mean, he can learn the code, or he can try using building the use cases. Is it possible, as per your experience and knowledge?
Yes, RPA is a low code platform, and for the BA, and guys, if you have some experience, you can use Studio. Otherwise, you would have Studio X also. And whenever you are doing an RPA project, so at least the BA is not expected to have the entire knowledge of the knowledge as the developer is having, but at least the technologies, what is happening, right? So, for example, tomorrow you have a use case which is coming from document understanding, and so the developer
Mhm.
understand the document understanding, but the BA is not sure what this technology does. So how would he ask
Right.
the right correct question to the business? So you don't need to know the entire thing, but at least at a high level, that what are the technologies. For example, if you are building an attended robot, and this is a perfect use case for humans in the loop, but the BA is not aware of
Mhm.
there is something called humans in the loop or action center in the UI path, how would he
Mhm.
communicate the same thing to the business, right?
Mhm.
Because as a business analyst, as an
Right.
architect, you always have to suggest the solution, right? So in order to
Right.
have the give the optimum solution, yes, you have to be in that touch and technology. You can always learn UiPath. It is very easy to run. There are a lot of community tutorials available. You can always go to the academy.uipath.com. Everybody is starting from there and getting the knowledge. It's always possible.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, super, Mukesh. So for the conclusion, Mukesh is saying like even the BA is not in ready to do the development or not. So at least he should know high level concepts of the program, RPA program. He should know
Right.
what is studio, what is orchestrator, what is
Yeah.
studio
Yeah.
X, what is task capture, what is all these things,
Hmm.
queues, triggers,
Hmm.
schedulers. He should know what
Schedulers,
is
right?
ongoing. Then
How they are working, right?
uh,
Because then only you will be able to sit with your developer and come up with a plan, right?
right. Got it, got it. So that is simply super, Mukesh. I think we have covered everything up. I mean, I listed some questions, but we went very high level. But I mean, in a deeper way we went. So that is very good. So even so, Mukesh is having his own YouTube channel. So tutorials by Mukesh. I will give the link in the description. He has created n number of videos on the RPA UiPath learning. So if somebody need to start learning, so we can browse Mukesh videos also. It is really helpful. So even I browsing some of the videos and learning some concepts from them, from him. So thank you so much for that. So finally, I say like thank you so much, Mukesh. Thank you so much for your time. It was a wonderful session with you. Like we got complete deep dive, even non-technical thing. So thank you so much for your time. It was a wonderful video with you.
Thank you,
Thanks for your
Nikhilesh.
conversation.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so I'll
Thank you.
stop the recording.